rather like to see this in something.
Yeah.
Right.
If you need it.
Everybody all set?
Yes.
All set? Okay. I'd like to call the Monday, February 3rd, 2025 Smithfield School Committee meeting to order. Before we begin, if we could please stand and say the pledge and flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Emergency evacuation and health notification. In case of an emergency, there are two main exits out of the media center. They are located to the right and left side of the media center through the set of double doors. Proceed to follow the exit signs to the exit doorways. There are restrooms located outside of the media center through either side of the double doors. There is a public comment sign-up notification sheet here in the front of the desk over here. Please sign up for that if you are going to say anything during the public comment portion of the meeting. During the regular meeting, people can also speak during an agenda item. But anybody who speaks, please speak at the podium so it is captured by the recording. First item of business are the consent agenda items. 4.1. We're going to break one of these off here because we have one member who is not there. But we are going to take 4.1, approval of minutes of January 16th. Open minutes of the January 16th school committee meeting. The next one's okay, we're going to skip the C, that one, we'll vote on that separately. D, minutes of January 27, 25 school committee work session. 4.2, approval of bills, regular bills totaling $1,457,125.39. Direct checks from January 11th, 25 to January 31st, 25, totaling $128,789.47. And lunch bills totaling $76,314.11. And approval of homeschooling per the sheet that we have. So this will require a motion.
Motion to approve consent agenda items, approval minutes of all the January meetings, and approval of bills.
And second.
Second.
Motion has been made and second. Any questions or comments? If
I
yes.
have one question on the
Sure.
bills. Page 9, we were talking about the elevator. So I see we have bi-monthly maintenance that we're paying for and then service calls. Does the bi-monthly maintenance help the service calls? Like we're having these maintenance calls, but then
Those are mandatory inspections for the elevator.
is it a passing inspection during those
Yes,
monthly?
it is passing inspection.
Oh, and then it should break it
Yes,
down?
so they have an inspection certificate. Yes, they
Oh,
do.
wow.
All
And still just continue to
And
break it down.
our chair
That's
was
interesting.
also inspected.
Okay.
You're just glad it's only one story, right? That you're going up? Okay. All right.
I have one more question. sorry.
Yes, go ahead.
Page 48.
Of the bills, right?
Yeah, the bills. I'm just wondering what one strategy is. It's a 20-hour program to assist high school students, $4,000. One
So-
strategy, WTH entrepreneurial program.
Yep, I can answer that.
Oh, perfect.
So One Strategy is a business that we partnered with last year. We ran an entrepreneurial program for students with disabilities where they developed their own business pitch, and this company took them through the process of developing a business plan. They have expanded that this year to work with one of the CTE business classes, general ed, and so we've talked about kind of every other year running special ed, CTE, but in the end, kids do come up with a business plan, working through an entrepreneur.
So every other year, does it come out of your budget and then it goes out of general?
So we've been able to fund this through grant, through the governor's Learn 365 grant, and that's where the funding
Okay.
is appropriate.
Perfect. Thank you.
Further questions, comments? If not, we have a motion as seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against nay. Now we're going to take up item 4.2, 6.1, letter C, which is approval and sealing of executive session minutes of December 16th, 2024. This will require a motion.
Motion to approve 4.1C, approval and sealing of executive session minutes of December 16, 2024.
And a second. Motion has been made and seconded. Any questions? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against, nay, with one abstention. Okay? All right, we are up to date there. No high school student rep tonight. Item 6, update on the Boyle project.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have John Racine, DOPM, for a Boyle project.
How's everyone tonight?
Mhm.
Luckily, I have a pretty short list tonight. We're at a point where there really isn't a whole lot going on at the field other than closeout. So we have the contractor working on the closeout documents, so as-built, warranties, things of that nature. Hopefully, we're assembling some of the final building, and that can go. We do have some outstanding punch list items that are temperature sensitive, some touch-up on the outside. That really is going to happen during the early spring, we hope. There's still a coat of the epoxy flooring in the concession building that needs to be put down. That's the portion of it. All in all, that's about where we are. Everything is functioning as it's supposed to, is my understanding. Haven't seen any leaks. So that's essentially where we are with the project.
Questions?
Would you be able to please provide the full punch list to us?
Sure.
Thank you.
I am assuming that as the weather gets good, you're going to be finishing this up. Do we have any type of estimate as one we think?
The amount of work is minimal. It's like a day or two to get out there. And they have to put a new section of the panel at the socket that the excavator hit. You got to put like I said, a coating of material down the floor. So as the weather breaks, it's really about a day or two's worth of work. I don't think we've established that yet, but I would hope that's.
Well, we always use roughly anywhere between March and April 15th or something,
Yeah.
so somewhere in there. And then at that point, we'll all be happy.
I hope so.
Hope so.
Absolutely.
Okay, any further questions, comments, anything? Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks.
Next item is item 7, discuss, review, and approval of Green Acres Landscaping Payment Application Number 10, RGB number 6683-5, not to exceed $84,117.09. You do have the invoice in your packets.
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's all right.
I'm on order. Hang on. So this is the final, this is the Green Acres Landscaping from last meeting that was tabled because there was some questions. And so the first question was regarding the $991 donation. I went back and reviewed, and we did in fact receive the donation from Apple Valley Oil, so we do have that reserved in the fund. And so again, being working on budget and being all in the number, it wasn't off the top of my head to know that we had that in the fund. So we do have the 991, and they have not, Green Acres had not yet paid for it. The second question was Mr. LeBlanc regarding, and rightfully so, the et cetera. In your packet, I believe, Angelo, that we included a list, and I think, and we'll ensure that we pay closer attention to this in the future. There was an actual sheet, and I think when they did the summary, that sheet kind of fell off that has a detail. So if you have any additional questions regarding the et cetera list worksheet was included in the packet. Do you have that?
Yeah, it looked like it was replaced with like miscellaneous building items.
Angelo, can you?
So we went from like vague to not as vague. You know? And I don't mean to be a pain. It's just
You are not a pain.
it's
You're not a pain.
over $250,000. That's all.
Let me try to answer some questions.
Sure.
So what exactly are you looking for additional
So
information?
I think it was the change order 14, all right?
It was a reallocation of existing
Yeah.
funds that
Yeah.
are in the existing budget.
Just a breakdown of what what sort of work besides just like the sidewalks, landscaping, plaza site drainage, and miscellaneous building items? You know, because again, just looking back, it looks like the project was what, $38,000 to $60,000, and already sidewalks and curbing. There was already a landscape budget. There was already stuff like that, and like $360,000 in drainage for the entire project. So that's why I was just wondering. Some of it looks, it just reads as being redundant. It's such a large scope of money at the end.
I see. So when this project was bid out originally, it was just the fields and the track and the throwing area. The concession building and the grandstands weren't part of it. It wasn't in the budget. We didn't have enough money in the overall budget. So as the project continued, some funding was identified or provided by the town, which went through the process. And then there was also areas of the scope that wasn't picked up. So the concession building was the only thing really picked up by the town. That's the $700,000 item.
Which includes what?
So it includes the building.
Just the building?
Yeah. So this work around it is the sidewalk work around it, the drainage, the landscaping, and things of that nature. The entry plaza, per se, going into that area. Sliding some of the new gates, some of the new fencing, underground drainage that goes to the retention ponds. That was not part of the original scope of work. It was part of the overall project when it was conceived. It just wasn't part of the original scope because it was an alternate. The town didn't elect to move forward with it. That make sense?
It makes sense in its explanation. It still doesn't make complete sense to me. But maybe it's not supposed to. You know.
Okay. So there's other
Because I do see like ACO drain to install a drain in front of the concession stand for $17,500, which is a separate item out of the leftover allowance of the $402,000.
Right.
So what additional drain is in
So if you go to the
item
site,
14?
right? If you go item 14.
The change order, item 14, the large sum of money that we're talking about. Just what
So there are
additional drain?
two site drains in the landscaping area. So if you go to the site, there are site drains in the landscape low area that wasn't there during the original project.
Okay. So when this is all said and done, that concession, that's $1 million building?
Yes. Well, it's $1 million installation. Yep. We bid it out 3 times.
Okay.
So just to add on to that, I think we had asked for the breakdown of that concession stand a few times during the project, and we still haven't seen that. So I know it's after the fact, obviously it's there, we're going to pay the bill, but it would still be really nice to see the complete breakdown of that concession stand dollar. Thank you.
You all set? Melissa, you?
Yep.
Okay. Everybody else? All right, so we have not made a motion yet, so we will need a motion to approve.
Motion to approve Green Acres landscaping payment application number 10 RGB not to exceed $84,117.09.
And a second.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Further questions or comments? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against, nay. The ayes have it. Thank you. We move on to 8. Discuss, review, and approve the 2025 to 26 school calendar for the school year. That is in your packets.
That is in your packet. I think there are also copies that were made. I'm not sure if you want, I can certainly put it up on the screen as well.
What am I hitting? You turn it.
Number
2?
2 or 3.
Yeah. See what Buck does here. Magic.
Certainly, I can speak to this. This shows 180-day calendar, school. So with all of the calendars, we certainly meet as a team. Administrators, we may not, once that turns off, we may not get that on. Talk about increasing technology. Yes, there we go. So proposing for school to begin for students August 26th. There is an additional professional development date for teachers that is included there, so you can see along the side there are 4 dates. Those are integrated. We do this in collaboration, certainly with our teachers union, our administration, looking at past practices. We have accepted the same. RIDE sends out a general calendar. We meet as superintendents and within our staff. So again, the start of school would be August 26th for student. The 25th would be professional development orientation day. And this calendar that you have in front of you also just notes, not this one on the screen, but the one in your packet also should have the back to school days, teaching and learning days, et cetera. So those are done in collaboration with the teachers, so everyone has plenty of notice.
Questions? Does require a motion, maybe Zach.
Motion to approve the 2025-2026 school calendar for the school year.
And a second.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Now, any questions or comments or anything? We're back on the normal schedule of getting them done early and not
Yes.
2 weeks before we start. Okay,
No,
very good.
And I would personally like to thank you for adding back in the day before, or the Labor Day weekend. I was not supportive of that last year. I don't know if we had any reason for adding it back in or what, but I really am glad that we added that back in as a school day.
Thank you. We try different things. We take feedback and input. We also take a look at attendance data. But I share, we tried it. People did love it. We unfortunately took it and we have taken it away. That in place of, again, looking at increasing attendance, not only getting this out early, but also putting some of our professional development dates on Mondays, so that if people want to take short vacations, that's in there. And you'll also notice there is a longer December into January break too. This is something that a school district can do every couple of years. We've chosen to advance this to you so that people can plan ahead for longer vacation in those 3 days. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, motion is made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against, nay. The ayes have it. Number 9, discuss, review, and approve submission of Smithfield Stage 1 to RIDE.
Thank you, Mr.
Lovely
Chairman.
document is in there, so.
We do have our OPM from Colliers, Patrick Robler and Debbie Faith, regarding the submission of Stage 1.
Good evening, everyone.
Thank you.
Hello?
Hello.
How are you?
Good, how are you?
Very good.
So we've assembled the Stage 1 document that will be submitted to RIDE. This is the establishment of NEED. We spoke about it last week. And basically it's all assembled, it's put together, it's ready to get submitted after we get through another item in the agenda tonight, which is the confirmation or adjustment of the building committee list. So we will add that in after this meeting, as well as the meeting minutes from this meeting and the meeting minutes from town council tomorrow. Assuming that we move through with approvals, then we will submit by the end of the week, get that in early to RIDE, and we'll all go in through a portal, so it's a little easier than it used to be. We don't have to send 1,000-page binders, so RIDE's pretty happy about it as well. But any questions or anything that you guys want to ask us for your days?
I have one question. Page 162, I guess, this is a huge document, but page 162, it says middle school upgrade and renovate the ISE rooms, and then it says SHS replacement of garage door with double door, ADA compliant. replacement of windows and painting, I thought we were gonna move that. So I saw that in there and I thought,
So with this initial list, this is the, again, establishment of needs. So what we're doing is we pulled some items strategically from a very long list of very expensive projects that we put together. And we've identified some key needs. But with that, there's also room to adjust that with the stage 2. So as we get the designer on board and we talk about some of those options, if the designer goes, hey, what if we did X instead, or we looked at different options, then we can talk about that as we go through. But as far as any like inclusion or exclusion of a single project that you see on there, that can change as we go through estimating and design choices and all that sort of stuff in stage 2. So this is just the initial establishment.
so that's not what we're doing though. We're not doing just the door.
Now, what we had originally, when we first made the plan back a year ago, we knew, we've been talking about this for several years, something had to be done about that room. That was the initial ideas that we had in-house before another option came up where we said, well, okay, we could do this, we'll get rid of that garage door, we'll make it an actual room. This other option came up that actually we hadn't thought about before, so we've been talking about this since last year. But that was an original thought we had, but we've always had the ISC room like in our targets.
So if I can also provide some
Yeah,
clarification.
of course.
The stage 1 is non-inclusive of the 2 emergency projects.
Okay. that
So
helps, yeah.
the stage 1 document that you have in front of you has nothing to do with the 2
Yes.
$500,000
Okay.
separate fiscal year projects that we're addressing, which is
That
the
was my next
CTE and the movement of the special education rooms to adjacent floor.
Perfect, thank you.
Yep.
Further questions? If not, let's see, we do need a motion here.
Motion to approve stage 1 plan to
Second.
ride.
Motion has been made and seconded. Any further comments or questions? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against, nay. The ayes have it. Thank you. Now we move right on to item 10. Discuss, review, and approve the architect SLAM for architectural services, SPS, for the district team to enter into negotiations. We will make the motion and then you can discuss away of what's going on here. So, motion has been made by somebody.
Motion to discuss, review, and approve the architect SLAM for architectural services at SPS for the district team to enter into negotiations.
And a second.
Second.
Motion made and second. Now you may slam away. There you go.
Thank you again. Our team is here to discuss this, but the evaluation team independently scored each of the bids. This was the architectural firm that had certainly the highest points. Patrick?
Yes, so the score number that you have in front of you is what the reviewers used to go through and assess each of the different proposals that was put forward. And then on the back end, Deb worked really hard and I helped a little bit in getting all of the binary stuff figured out. So did they meet the qualifications and requirements for insurance? Are they bondable? You know, those sorts of questions. We looked through legal proceedings. Is there any cause for concern that they might go under because they're, you know, in some giant lawsuit? You know, those sorts of things, right? And so we've been through all of those, and basically where everything lined out is that SLAM not only maintained the highest score in the discretionary reviews, but then also met the qualifications that we needed to be accepted as a proposer.
Okay, questions, school committee? Shall we vote? If not, we'll vote on. All in favor, say it. I'm sorry, did you have more?
No, I was just
Everybody
asking.
has a being polite.
Oh, okay. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against, nay. The ayes have it. I'm going to skip down to one here so we can get everything to do with this together. I want to go to item 13. Discuss, review, and approve school building committee membership. Since it has to do with all of this, might as well take care of it now. You have a list in here, and I'm going to have the superintendent explain what we got going on here, and we can vote on it, and therefore,
So for every project, RIDE requires that there is a building committee. There's certain positions that are required based on the town charter. The town council would make the ultimate decision on approving who would be in there. However, I think it's important for the school committee to make a recommendation on the membership. I know at previous meetings, the school committee had voted on 2 members to be sitting on the committee. Those are reflected on that document. It is a requirement that the superintendent of schools is on the committee as well. There are some other positions as well, including for someone who knows the buildings from a facilities point of view. So our director of facilities is on there, as well as someone with the business background, finance. Our director of finance is on there as well. There is also a requirement, correct me if I'm wrong, a community parent member who has a background in architecture, engineering, or construction.
And if you determine to add another member after the submission of stage 1 goes through, then we have up to 20 days to email RIDE with the additional member or members, and it will still be official in their eyes.
So up to 20 days from when we get our proposal
When
in?
you pick the person or people,
Oh,
if
when
you
we-
add to
okay.
your building committee
Yeah,
list.
you'll count that.
We
Just
pick
a-
the person on March 1st, we have to March 20th. Okay.
Exactly, it's a reporting requirement.
I didn't know if it had to do with the filing deadlines. Okay, very good. Okay, so, let's see, we do need a motion and a second.
Motion to discuss, review, and approve the building committee.
And a second.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Now, further questions or comments? Go ahead.
So I believe that a second parent, we did have multiple parents or community members who did volunteer or put their names forward to participate. In conversation, it sounds like this parent we're very appreciative, but I think that I would not be opposed to having a second parent on the committee as well. It sounds like the other parent had a stronger experience in the trade industry, which I think is equally important, especially if you had been here through any of the things that we just went through with the Boyle project. I think having that trade expertise on the committee would be extremely beneficial, and I'd like to, I don't know if I have to make a motion to adjust this building committee. My motion would be to add that additional parent member to the current building committee, especially now knowing this information that we only have 20 days to do so. That would be my recommendation to the town council.
We know the person definitely wants to serve, correct?
Yes, I've been in
Somebody on.
communication with both individuals, and both have expressed a strong interest. I have not committed to either because it was coming to you first.
I don't have a problem with this. I will make one comment, and that is when we get to phase 3, that's when the trades are really helpful, okay? Because now we're actually, building the project. And I just don't want the person to burn out on stage 1 and 2.
I hope not, but
That's-
even more so, I'd rather them have the
Okay.
complete experience from stage 1 through stage 3.
Okay.
It's really hard to come into projects of this size and catch up on things. As you can see, we have lots of questions that, Mr. LeBlanc wasn't here at the beginning of the Boyle, none of us, Richard was. But I think even more so that it's important to have that person. And it is a long commitment, and I do appreciate the community reaching out to do this. But I think having the expertise of somebody who not only is their industry and their field, but they have a connection to the town as well, whether their children in the district or they're a taxpayer, is very beneficial. So that's, do I need to make a?
So I would, we have a motion has been made here. What you want to do is make a motion to amend it.
I do.
Adding the additional individual. That's all. Simple
All
as
right,
that.
I'm going to make a motion to amend the proposed building committee membership to add the additional parent community member who volunteered.
Okay, this will require a second.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. So now we're first going to vote on adding an extra person that volunteered, okay? This person's name need to be in this or not?
Sure. Yes, I mean, everyone else's name is here, this is a
Okay.
public document. so
Right. We
can have
we
names
will
to be
need
in
the
public.
name if you have the name to go into this amendment. And just for the school committee, we're voting on the amendment. The amendment passes. Now we'll vote on the new amended motion. Have the name?
Yes, that is Mr. Zachary Smith.
Zachary Smith?
Smith.
How do you spell Smith? I'm only kidding. All right.
With an I.
It's not smart, huh? Okay, all right. So the motion is to add an additional member with Zachary Smith. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against, nay. The ayes have it. Now we're going to vote on the amended motion as amended. Any further comments or questions on the amended motion, which has added an extra individual? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against, nay. The ayes have it. We are done with that. Okay, now, thank you.
Thank you.
That is all
Thank you
done.
very much.
We will take that list, we will amend it, and we will add it to the submission.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you very much.
Okay, so we get off and rolling. Now we'll go back to item 11, which is to discuss, review, and approval to purchase athletic equipment from MF Athletics for a cost not to exceed $21,298 from the fund balance.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have the athletic director, Glenn Castiglia, if you come to the podium this way if there's any questions on this equipment.
We will need a motion, yes, we need a motion and a second for this.
Motion to review, discuss, review, and approve the purchase of athletic equipment.
Okay. Second?
Second.
Motion has been made and second. Okay, it's made and seconded. Do we have any questions? People know what it's for or not?
I know what it's for, but just one question. I think we had talked quite a bit about this during the actual project and what equipment was available. Do we foresee any other equipment is my first question, and then two, do we have proper storage available for all of this equipment that we're looking to purchase?
Storage, yes, we definitely should be okay with that. I actually printed out a picture, the pole vault pit that we, just so everyone has an idea, because it sounds weird, but for this, there's actually a cover that's included as part of the kit. So it'll remain out there set up throughout the spring season. And then once the spring season concludes, then we'll put it away in the storage containers that are at the field. So it will stay out there, but at the conclusion of the season, it'll be put away.
Gotcha. Okay. Any further questions right now?
Are all of the hurdles the same color?
Yes, I am proud to report.
Are they a
that
Smithfield color?
Yes,
Wonderful.
even better. Yes.
I don't know, that sounds like a stage question.
If you were not here in the past, they
Yeah,
were purple,
yeah.
they're a mixed match.
They were
of things that have
donated
been
from
donated
Newton
over the
College and a
years.
number of
Okay.
other places.
But they
and-
worked, right?
Doesn't go along with the beautiful.
Yeah, I'm not gonna answer that.
Would you jump over something? that's-
They're fine for practice. They were okay for that, but
Okay. So, if no further questions, let's vote on the first motion here. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against, nay. The ayes have it. And item 12, discuss, review, and approval to purchase a pole vault pit competitive package for a cost not to exceed $23,595 from the fund balance. Again, this will require a motion.
Motion to approve purchase of pole vault pit competitor package not to exceed $23,595.
And a second.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. I'm not going to let the kids just jump without a pit.
yeah, sure, we'll hold it.
That's pretty
That was
tough.
actually the picture that I held up, was the
Pretty tough,
pole vault
yes.
pit, not to be confused with the hurdle. Sorry about that, but.
That's all right. You may have your setup question now. What
Sorry,
color
no,
is
this
it or
is not
whatever?
a setup question. This is, the first question was, do we anticipate any other track and field or any other type physical equipment that's needed for this project?
At this time, no. I would say no. We'll have to continue to inventory stuff. You have to understand, we haven't held a track meet here at Smithfield High School for, I would say, I think it's roughly 6 calendar years now, because our track previous to the Boyle project was deemed unsafe. So we have not held anything here for a number of years. So, we'll still be inventorying things. I mean, I hope not. I don't
But the
foresee.
track coaches were consulted for, I know
Yes,
last year,
yeah.
the middle school track team fundraised for maybe like a laser type line that they cross. I know there was other things, so I'm hoping that can be reused. There was, significant fundraising done for that last year. And anything else along those lines that isn't something that stays out on the field necessarily
Yeah,
all the time.
they
It
bought a
is
lot of
needed.
training equipment, like stuff that they use in practice every day, not necessarily things that would be used or utilized at meets. But yeah, so that stuff will go on, yeah, for sure.
I just have one question. Are we able to have track meets now with all this?
Yes.
equipment? All right,
Yes,
great.
we
And
are.
then, do we get any financial gain from track meets? How does that work?
Admission?
I am hoping to charge admission like we do for our other
Yeah.
events. I am not fully, I don't see why we couldn't charge. Because like I was told in the fall, because we charged for all our events except field hockey. And I was told by several people at the, the state level, oh yeah, no one charges for field hockey. And I was like, why not? They're coming to our facility, they're sitting in our seats,
Exactly,
or using our park, like why not? To the tune of, I got the response of my favorite answer, well, that's the way we've always done it. So I don't see why we couldn't. Certainly going forward with this equipment, we will now, and this was a big thing I know I shared with Melissa and with Dawn, one of the biggest advantages to having all this equipment is now we could actually host invitational meets, which is, invitationals will be, anywhere from, 12 to 30 teams. And you collect a fee from each team in addition to, fee to actually watch the event. So there should be financial gain for certain.
So we invest now and potentially could make it back.
Yes, absolutely.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, further questions? That's how we've always done it. That's how we inspect bridges. Somebody asked the bridge inspector. That's how we did it. Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Against, nay. The ayes have it. Okay, that is item 13. 14, communications. Copy of resignations, retirements, new hires in district, none at this time, so there's nothing to look for. Superintendent's report, item 15.
I don't have anything to add at this time, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, public forum. Rebecca Renier?
Good evening, everyone.
Hello.
I am Rebecca Wagner. I have 2 children in the middle school. I am coming today because I understand that there are no buses for the Indian Run Trail area. I assume due to closeness and proximity of the middle school. However, it is a very dangerous area for children to be walking to and from school, and I'm hoping that there might be an exception made for extreme circumstances. First of all, it is extremely narrow in most of the areas, and there are no sidewalks at all for the children to walk. Although the speed limit is 15 miles per hour, I can tell you, living on Black Hawk Trail, that it is not 15 miles per hour for all of these cars. Obviously, it seems like there was a concern with regards to speeding because speed bumps were put in place on Wampum, which is over near where the senior center you can get into Deerfield. It has become a cut-through in the morning for people to avoid Pleasant View Avenue traffic. And not only that, but to actually avoid the traffic pattern going to the middle school so that they don't have to go into that rectangular area. They can just take a right into the parking lot. There are a lot of blind spots in multiple areas there. In the winter time, it is a little better because you don't have as much greenery. However, I can tell you the S-curve, you cannot see anything coming when you are in that curve. Again, it does get worse in the spring and the summer because of the foliage. As if those things weren't enough, I have lived there for 5 years. I've seen a car hit and go through a house. I have seen 2 mailboxes get mulled over. And yesterday morning at 9:15, a gentleman who is middle-aged, when I was taking my son out, actually crossed the center lane and hit a tree. So I can tell you, I'm sure the police department has all of these records because they were big accidents. I would hate for a child to get hit and get injured before a change is made. So I'm just asking that perhaps you reconsider maybe even having one stop in that area where all of the middle school and maybe possibly high school children could congregate in a safer area to just catch the bus back and forth. I can tell you that because of the snow last Friday, my son fell 3 times in the road. If a car was coming by, I may not have him today. So I just ask that you please consider it. It's not a safe walk zone. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Superintendent.
Thank you.
Look into that.
Yes, we'll look into that, certainly with the police, but also with the bus company as well. Every year, we do a run-through of all of our stops with the police department and with the bus, but now that it's been raised as a concern, we'll look at that right away and speak with the bus company, see if that's possible.
Thank you. Okay. On to item 17, consider items to add to future agendas. Ms. Sala.
I just have one. So with the closure of the collab that was housed in the old Windsor building, I understand that $88,000 in funding was given back to our district based on that. I'd like to add an agenda item where we can speak specifically to that money and propose that it is directed back into special education, whether it be part of the project and we are able to get additional equipment or whatnot, but that money was already allocated in my mind for special education, so I'd like to have a discussion about putting it back there.
Okay. What I'll do is I'll put the whole issue on, go where it goes, and so we can see, that way we get all the
Yes, let's not be
information.
too specific.
That's right, and we'll get all the information and figure things out from then as to where we're going to go.
I appreciate it.
Anybody else? If not, we're now going to consider vote on a motion to go into executive session pursuant to General Laws 42-46-5A, matters pertaining to personnel, discussion, and evaluation of superintendent in accordance with the Open Meeting Act, Rhode Island General Laws 42-46-5A1, review of executive session minutes for January 16, 2025. Okay, this requires I also am supposed to say any person who will be discussed in executive session has been notified and given an opportunity to have the discussion heard in open session. The committee did not receive such a request. This requires individual votes. Ms. Fafford?
We have a
Oh, yeah, you know, I'm ahead of myself. Thank you.
motion to move
Just
to
testing you,
executive
that's
session.
all. Okay.
Second.
Guys, gotta remember that one. Okay, let's see, Ms. Fafford?
Aye.
Ms. Sala?
Aye.
Ms. Hogan?
Aye.
Ms. LeBlanc? And myself, aye. Thank you. I already talked about the other things, so yeah.